Morning, everyone. Doing the pre-market prep early here at 7 a.m. Because I won't be able to do it at 9. Got an important meeting to attend to at that time. So, man, there's a lot to talk about. First, let's talk about the FOMC meeting and the Fed raising rates and the reaction of the market. So they went up 0.5%, which was expected. The market really took off when a comment was made that they're not considering 0.75% increase. Now, going into the meeting, I had said either the results of that meeting would result in a short squeeze or a further crash, but not an end to the bear market. I'm sticking with that. I believe this is just going to be a short-term bear market rally. So here are the targets I'm looking at on the QQQ. I keep it simple: 20, 50, 200 DMA. Those are the three levels I'm looking at. Now, look, in this last bear market rally, it faked me out, went a little bit above the 200 DMA, but I'm not going to take any chances here. I'm keeping my hedge on, and as we reach these resistance levels, anything that I consider too risky of an asset or I have an overweight position on currently, I'm going to be reducing or selling covered calls on. SPY, similar story here with the 20, 50, 200 DMA moving averages. So it's possible we only get another morning out of this if we get to 432 here on SPY, or maybe it does surprise and go to the 50 to the 200. But I'm not very optimistic that it's going to last a long time, but I could be wrong. Look, the RSI looks relatively low. The MACD looks like maybe it wants to flip. So there are some maybe positive technical indicators out there. But just my read on the fundamentals and risk of recession, and I see increasing chatter about higher chances of recession, increasing chances of higher chances of severe recession. And that's been my view for a long time, particularly because of food and energy inflation. I don't think the consumer is going to be able to maintain their discretionary spend with food and energy prices being so high. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, it's great because I'm probably 90% long. I only have like a 10% hedge right now. But the important thing is the way I'm playing it, which is selling the pops, selling covered calls to reduce my cost basis. And I'm just fine with that. If I miss some upside, so be it. I'm not selling covered calls on everything, just a portion of my shares. There's lots of news to cover, even though it's 7 a.m. And I'll apologize if I miss any news that comes out closer to the open. But man, do we have a lot to cover. Big news in Twitter this morning. Let's start there. Twitter is up 2% in pre-market because there is a bunch of news here on financing. Elon Musk getting $7 billion in fresh financing for Twitter deal. But look what's really important. Prince Al-Walid will now back Elon Musk's Twitter bid and retain his stake. He is rolling over his stake into the private entity. Is not selling his shares. Musk financing includes $1 billion from Larry Ellison. This, to me, dramatically increases the chance that this deal will close at $54. It's just a matter of time. See the market gapped open at 7 a.m. at $51. I've sold some $51 covered calls that expire this week. My break even is $51.25, so about on half of my shares. So who knows? Maybe I lose half of my shares this week, and that's fine. If I lose them, maybe I'll sell some puts. I think this will be a fun one to continue selling options on over the next several months by the time the deal closes. So that's the story with Twitter. Occidental Petroleum. I saw Form 4 over here. Looks to be new. Yep. Warren Buffett. He purchases another 6 million shares at $57. So this can light a fire under the energy sector once again. I think is also in Chevron. So what a beautiful chart that is, actually, man. Sometimes I regret not being in these big caps as much. Probably should be. But in any case, Occidental Petroleum is going to light a fire in the, at least in that stock, and perhaps the rest of the energy sector. We got some news that looks interesting. PHRRF has been a big loser. The psychedelic company. Sorry, I'm looking down at my phone here. But they came out with a patent, and the headline looks significant to me. Announces grant of U.S. patent on formulation and production process of ketamine. And Yeah, sentiment may be getting better. Elon Musk recently tweeted about psychedelics, and he thought that psychedelics are a very good option compared to, I think he compared it to Adderall. I forgot what he compared it to, but he said he knows a lot of people who had benefits from psychedelics. So this may be one to watch. That sentiment maybe was not enough to turn around the stock, although this little pop may have been from Elon's tweets the other day. I'm not sure. But now you get a patent, so something to look at. I don't have a position. Maybe we'll catch up with Colton Tell, the person who presented it to us, to get an update on that. Man, lithium and uranium, lots of updates here. LTHM, another lithium company. Man, I didn't know there were so many lithium companies. I didn't have them all on my list, but they had, look at that move yesterday on earnings from 22 to 29 here this morning. So I believe what you're going to see are sympathy plays, and you can see already LAC did well yesterday, not nearly as good as a company reporting LTHM. But I may be looking at some of these laggards here. Now, LLKKF trades in Australia. This may gap open because of those results. So I'm not sure if we can get it at $1.21 here at the 50 DMA. This was Australian company that's going to go on the NASDAQ soon. So that may be an interesting one to pick up today. Another one I may be looking at picking up. I already own this one, but I may pick up more LIACF. So that's interesting. That's lithium and uranium miner, which is cool because he also had earnings from both DNN and CCJ. DNN last night. And you can't really see not much of a reaction to DNN, and CCJ this morning up 1%. The CCJ looked a little more impressive to me, at least the headlines. It says Q1 EPS up the first Canadian 10 cents, US, I guess. 4 cents beats negative 2 cent estimate. Sales 398 million beats 312 million. The title here, Cameco reports first quarter results beginning to benefit from strategic decisions as uranium prices improve. So it looks like you may want to dig deeper than I did right there on uranium and lithium. But these are two areas I may be looking at to possibly buy more this morning. Okay, we had some earnings and news. Okay, we had SMSI yesterday, a huge holding in the story trading community. You can see it had a really good reaction when the Fed increased the rates here and the market went up. Last close, I guess, in after hours yesterday that was this morning, $3.22. Bid is $3.10. I looked at it in a very cursory way. The earnings, you can see, revenue beat 12.7, but this is all about forward-looking commentary. They did have some news here about welcoming a sales leader, but there's mixed things in here. I know there's a shelf offering. So when I say mix, I'm talking about the market reaction. How's the price going to react? I'm not talking about my own fundamental belief long-term in the company, but there's some mixed information in there. I think there was something about, the legacy Sprint revenue declining. So there's probably enough to chew on here for both bulls and bears. Again, this is my cursory review, so I don't necessarily expect a big pop this morning or a big drop. Could be some chop, could go either way, and may ultimately go the way of the market. So that's the story with SMSI. You may want to take a deeper look at that. I do have a position in that. Okay, a couple other things. Kodak announced earnings are coming, I believe, Tuesday. It's early next week. Let's get the exact date for you. Here we go, May 10th. So I'm not expecting anything material really to come out of the headlines or the PR in the earnings for a couple of reasons. First, I believe fundamentally it's too early for those new businesses to really show in the top and bottom line, and probably too small at this point, their new initiatives, to be material to a $1 billion revenue company. The other reason I don't expect anything is because we had that huge insider buy just recently, and I think it's just going to look too suspicious if they announce anything groundbreaking here early next week. They may be compelled to stay quiet a bit longer and announce their great news a little later on to make that insider buy look a little less suspicious. That's my gut. So I'm not expecting anything. The best thing that can happen is if they have a Q&A in the conference call. That would be wonderful. If they have a Q&A in the conference call, I'll be there and I'll try to get out of them some important information and nuggets. But The chart kind of looks good with this RSI low. It does have a couple of resistance levels here, but with that RSI that low, if the market continues this little short squeeze bear market rally just a little bit and challenge $6 before earnings, which I wouldn't mind because I happen to have an overweight position. That probably the combination of lack of judgment and the fat finger error played into it a little bit also. So I have an overweight position at a higher price, closer to 650, which I've been selling weekly covered calls on. So I wouldn't mind if we challenged 6 or broke 6 before earnings. I may sell some covered calls against that, continue to sell covered calls against that to lower my cost basis. Okay. DRIO, I've talked all about it. Earnings, I believe, are next Thursday. So, man, I had a rough day yesterday to a new 52-week low before it recovered. So, you know what? That may be a wait until things turn around, the markets turn around. But I really like the story. I think we're going to hear good news on earnings next week. Okay, VTSI, also widely held holding at StoryTrading. I own it, and I think we got some not great news last night. It's not in the news feed here yet, but it was in the SEC filing. We've been talking about in the StoryTrading community that they fired their auditor. There was nothing in the SEC filing that said, hey, there's any material weakness or any kind of sign of issues. And I probably think there isn't any sign of issues. My best guess is that that firm just couldn't handle the business at this point. They were recently hired and just fired after 5 months before they produced any reports. And they already hired a new firm. Here's the issue. The issue is it's going to delay, most likely, their late filing even more. And market's not going to like that. You can see the stock's already down 20 cents, 3.7% in pre-market. So again, I don't see anything material. There may be like an evolving good news story here in that we have this co-CEO that was announced. They're changing the auditor. We know there's activist action. So this could be part of like this broader personnel restructuring, which can take management to the next level to be able to handle all the new business coming in. So that may be the silver lining, but it would be nicer if it was rolled out like at one time in one PR rather than bit by bit like this, right? I think there seems to be like a transition, like you have that co-CEO being announced. Like that's odd. Like to me, that's clear that's not going to last. This is just a transitory thing until Bob Ferris leaves. And then the new CEO will be the sole CEO. That's my prediction. So maybe some good things are happening here, but the way it's being rolled out could be bad in terms of near-term market price action. So that's the story with VTSI. We'll take one last look at the news feed. BioCris came out with earnings, expects full year 2020 net Orladeo revenue to be no less than $250 million. I'm not sure how that compares to expectations. I know they had predicted peak revenue to be $1 billion for BCRX. Q1 EPS negative 40 cents misses. So people don't like that. Sales miss. They're not going to like that. Maybe come down to that expectation of $250 million. Again, I don't know how it compares. Let's look at the early morning price action. It's down a little bit, 976. I can't really make much out of this because I did not. Here you go. The company had previously expected operating expenses, let's see, to be for once the company completes this investigation. So no, I'm not sure. You have to look into it. About Orladeo. Okay. So let's see if there's any other news. So yeah, that's it. I will probably miss some news in this pre-market prep that comes out between now 7:24 a.m. and 9 a.m. Usually I don't get much news between 9 and 9:30 a.m. So in any case, lots to chew on here, lots of opportunities. I think it's big news in Twitter, big news in Occidental, big news possibly in PHRRF, lithium and uranium. Looks like there was some good news out there. So lots to chew on, guys. Lots to do. And look at the Qs down 0.74%. Man, I was not in the office yesterday. I was predisposed, not available at when this big rally happened. If it happened, I would have sold some covered calls on some of my positions. I was hoping that we'd open green so I can do some of that at the open this morning. So down 0.76%. Let's hope that turns around in the morning so we can do some selling. All right, guys. Have a great day.